Good evening and welcome to the Evening News for Friday, September 19, 2014. I'm Petra Santos. Thank you for joining us. Making the headlines this evening, Granger hints Vanessa Kissoon could be recalled from Parliament. APNU distances self from AFC buying out MP's claim. 3 held for drugs, gun, ammo in Frenchman. Ramjatan admits AFC's ethnic rotation was scrapped. Driver charged for death of visiting relatives. An ex-policeman to know fate on Monday for schoolboy's murder. And now for the news in detail. A Partnership for National Unity today distanced itself from claims made by the Alliance for Change that the administration was seeking to buy out opposition parliamentarians. The details in this report.
The hole sank deeper for the Alliance for Change today after a Partnership for National Unity leader, David Granger, distanced his party from claims that government was looking to buy out opposition parliamentarians. Granger said, as far as he knows, none of his party members have been approached.
Are you confident at all that all of your MPs will vote solidly on a no-confidence motion?
I'm very confident.
Or what do you make of the AFC leader's view yesterday that 3 MPs are being targeted, and he said that he's confident it is none of his 7.
I'm confident they're not APNU MPs. I don't know if you can say back to the $30 million offer. I don't know who made it up. I don't know where it came from.
Granger's statement has left persons to wonder if there is any merit to the claims made by the AFC. The AFC has said that it was sure none of their party members were involved. This comes after the PPP would have challenged the AFC to provide evidence to claims that the administration was engaged in bribery. The ruling party said that if the AFC has any evidence of such, it should forward it to the Guyana Police Force.
Leader of the opposition, David Granger, says that protests by the opposition and civil society in support of calls for local government polls have commenced. Here is more in this report.
APNU's leader David Granger says that the countless letters and releases from sections of the society are forms of protest. According to him, more protests are planned as the opposition continues to apply pressure on the administration to give a date for local government elections. He said that he is currently engaging the international community, including UNISOR, for it to call on President Ramatar to name a date for elections.
They're not all street protests. Letters have been written, pamphlets have been flyers have been circulated, meetings will be held. They're not all walking on the street. For example, as you know, the diplomatic corps, or some elements of the diplomatic corps and civil society, issued a joint letter since the 5th of March. That is a form of protest. They issued a joint letter calling for, and it is in my address yesterday, calling for local government election by the 1st of August. APNU is not alone in this matter, you know. Look at the signatories. There are 13 signatories to that call on the 5th of March, 2014. We're not alone. And the process of the protest has started.
Sir, but what happens if your calls fall on deaf ears and you don't see the response you're hoping for? And your very supporters are calling for national elections because they believe an APNU or an AFC government would more champion a call for local government elections. Don't you think you ought to be listening to them too?
Allow me to express the feeling that I know my supporters better than you do.
And what are your supporters saying to you?
Local government elections.
All of them?
Yeah, well, the majority. There are always a few diehards.
When asked whether the APNU prefers local government polls over general elections, Granger had this to say.
So the question now, sir, is the APNU getting ready at all for national elections should this no-confidence motion be presented and passed?
APNU is getting ready for local government elections, and we will hold this government to account that the people of this country are calling for local government elections.
With regard to national elections?
I said what I said.
No, are you saying then, sir, that the APNU is not in a mood for national elections?
APNU is calling on President Ramatar to behave in a constitutional manner and give the people what they want, and they want local government elections.
What happens if this no-confidence motion that you have indicated you intend to support goes through?
Well, let's wait until that happens.
What happens though?
Well, let's wait and see.
So you're not prepared for national elections?
We are prepared for local government elections.
For the evening news, Alexis Rodney.
The University of Ghana's Internet Resource Center, which was refurbished at the cost of $20 million, was on Thursday recommissioned thanks to Ghana Telephone and Telegraph Company. The details in this report.
In addition to the $20 million Internet Resource Center, the occasion marked the delivery of the 2 Mbps of dedicated Internet bandwidth to the Center for Information Technology at the University of Ghana. The high-speed Internet service will be provided at a cost of $1.2 million monthly for the next 3 years. The projects form part of a memorandum of understanding signed on April 30 between GT&T and the university for a series of developmental projects. Initially, GT&T had promised some $60 million. However, this has since been increased to $80 million.
Since I came to this university, I will sign over 20 agreements. This is the first one that you can start seeing the fruit of those agreements. The agreement has 5 elements, and I'm proud to say of the 5 elements, 3 has been delivered.
That was UG's Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Jacob Obadeyi, speaking at the commissioning ceremony in the presence of President Donald Ramadar, Prime Minister Samuel Hines, and GT&T's Chief Executive Officer R.K. Sharma. Underscoring the financial and technological support being offered by GT&T, the Vice-Chancellor said that students will now have easier access to Internet services to conduct their research and complete required assignments in the comfort of a new and improved lab. In his address, R.K. Sharma said GT&T will continue to aid in the development of human capital through education.
Education as a tool of economic empowerment and development is evident. The correlation between education and national development has been well established, and this has been demonstrated by countries which has achieved high levels of economic growth having advanced educational system. Higher education enhances economic development in many ways, including the provision of human capital and knowledge needed for production and good governance. Thus, the emphasis on education should not be incidental, but strategic.
When the Center for Information Technology was first launched in 2004, GT&T had equipped the technology lab with 57 Dell computers and other equipment to the value of $10 million. The company had also provided high-speed Internet access to the laboratory. The center is now re-equipped with 57 spanking new Lenovo desktop computers, in addition to a router and access point to enhance the delivery and distribution of bandwidth.
3 men were taken into police custody following the discovery of an unlicensed shotgun, ammunition and narcotics in separate police operations at Frenchman Mabura on Thursday. Police in a release stated that about 10 hours 45 on Thursday, ranks conducted a search at a house at Frenchman where they unearthed an unlicensed 12-gauge shotgun along with 3 cartridges. The 2 men who were in the house at the time of the search operation told the police that they were minors and kept the gun for security reasons. When questioned by ranks about having a license to bear arms, the men said they had none. They were told of the offense, cautioned and arrested. They are expected to be charged shortly. And on the same day, ranks of a mobile patrol conducted a search on a man at Frenchman Road where a quantity of seeds, leaves and stems of what ranks suspected to be marijuana was found wrapped in a plastic bag. He is expected to be charged for the possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. The governments of Norway and Ghana with the UNDP collectively signed a document that paves the way for the continuation of the Armenian Development Fund project under the Low Carbon Development Strategy. Here is more in this report.
Under the Low Carbon Development Strategy, some $6.3 million has been given to the Armenian Development Fund project. Under that project, Armenian communities will be able to fund micro-projects that will enhance their livelihood. Armenian Affairs Minister Pauline Sakai said that the success of the project will be highly dependent on the persons involved.
This phase, the second phase, is following shortly on the initial phase, which was implemented in 2013, where we saw 27 communities signing agreements between the Ministry of Armenian Affairs, UNDP, and the village councils to access funding for the initial projects that were selected randomly to initiate the community development project.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh reminded that the government of Guyana remains committed to the development of the country. He said that the money will be of immense benefit to the persons involved.
Armenian villages and hinterland villages of 200 years ago, of hundreds of years ago, recognized, even if that nomenclature wasn't used, sustainable development, or its other derivatives, its other synonyms and derivatives. Even if that nomenclature was not used, the fact of the matter is that those villages, the occupants of those villages, recognized that cutting down the trees today would inevitably lead to the decimation of their communities.
UNDP country representative Khadija Musa highlighted the success of the pilot project. She said that there is a certain unity with the parties involved that led to its immense success.
The team of ADF at UNDP and the team at MOAA were one and the same. We worked in total partnership. We planned everything together. We discussed the formulation. We discussed the testing we were doing. We agreed to disagree at some points.
If you have a news tip or news story you would like us to follow, message or WhatsApp us on telephone number 680-9630, 600-3117, or 617-2867. You can also call us on our office numbers at 231-0382, 226-2102, 223-7230, or 223-7231. The Alliance for Change on Thursday officially announced the halt of its ethnic rotation system, which had formed part of the party's policy when it was first established in 2005. Here is more from Alexis Rodney.
Early last week, the party's General Secretary David Patterson, when questioned on the issue by the Evening News, related that no such system was existing. At its weekly press conference on Thursday, the party's leader, Kemaraj Ramjatan, disclosed that the system was abandoned just before the last general elections in 2011.
This rotation principle that had indicated, first of all, that Raphael Trotman be the presidential candidate in 2006 and then myself in 2011, came to a halt, and it was altogether abandoned at a national conference held in 2011.
Heeding the advice raised by some experts, Ramjatan said that the party halted the system, which it was told had been denying the meritocratic method.
So if you have a very good leader that can do certain things and ensure a victory, rather than the ethnic commitment and placing that ethnic person there, it could do damage to our chances.
He said presidential and prime ministerial candidates now go through a commitment that is totally meritocratic rather than ethnic. Ramjatan explained that the selection process is now dependent on that of the nomination system. Meanwhile, when asked if his public endorsement of the party's vice chairman Moses Nagamutu as presidential candidate for the upcoming general elections is linked to an expectation of a large financial backup for the campaign, Ramjatan denied. He explained that he endorses candidates who he feels will be the best for the country. He said what makes the best candidates involves a number of factors, including hard workers, particularly those with the intellectual capacity to answer questions articulately, along with persons who have had a history of running a government, or at least they have the capacity to do so. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Stay with us. More of the Evening News on the other side of the break. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. 43-year-old Michael Jordan of Lot 21 Queens Hall, East Bank, Demerara, today appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts before Magistrate Fabio Azor to answer to a charge of causing death by dangerous driving. The charge alleged that on September 14 at Mabruma Public Road, he drove motor vehicle GMM 7330 in a manner dangerous to the public, causing the death of Raymond Ken and Jean Williams. Jordan was represented by attorney Leslyn Charles, who told the court that her client was injured and hospitalized for 4 days as she made an application for reasonable bail. However, Prosecutor Blackman objected to bail, stating the prevalence and seriousness of the offense. He also mentioned that 2 lives were lost during the accident. The objection grounds were overruled and Jordan was granted bail in the sum of $1 million. He is to lodge his travel documents and report to the Providence Police Station. The next court date is on October 7 in the courtroom of Magistrate Dylan Bess. Justice Franklin Holder today overruled the defense's application for a no-case submission presented by attorney Glenn Hanneman on behalf of his client, Quason John. John, a former police officer, is indicted with the murder of 16-year-old Kelvin Frazier in the vicinity of the Potentia Secondary School on June 7, 2010. The teenager was shot and killed when police responded to reports of drug addicts in the school compound harassing the female students. During the trial, State Counsel Diana Kaulasar called 15 witnesses to testify against the accused, and it was revealed that John claimed he accidentally shot the teenager. The prosecutor closed her case and a no-submission case was made by the defense attorney, but it was overruled by the judge. The case was then adjourned until Tuesday, when the presiding judge will sum up the evidence to the jury. The panel will then retire to the jury room, where they will be left to deliberate among themselves on a verdict. And if you have any news tips or news stories you would like our news team to follow, message or WhatsApp us on telephone numbers 680-9630, 600-3117, or 617-2867. You can call us on our office numbers 231-0382, 226-2102, 223-7230, or 223-7231. Vice Chairman of the Alliance for Change, Moses Nagamutu, says that the recently appointed Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Ghana Sugar Corporation, Sheikh Bash, must pay close attention to the financial figures of the entity if any sort of turnover could be had. Here is more from Alexis Rodney.
Nagamutu said the state of the Sugar Corporation now is at a point where millions of dollars go down the drain each year. At the party's press conference on Thursday, the vice chairman said that the heavily indebted corporation, with the new board chairman, could be able to rein in from its slippery slide towards bankruptcy.
The last figure that was disclosed had placed it in the tune of $85 billion, but we think it is much more than that. I have had figures that it could be as much as 115, and you're talking about billions of dollars, and some of that had been guaranteed by the state. And so, with the constant requests for bailouts from the National Treasury, we think that it would be a statement of optimism if Gaisuku were to do any better than limp at this point in time.
While the party has expressed some amount of confidence in the work of the new chairman, it is hoping that financial accountability be given for monies allocated to the corporation. Nagamutu said that a forensic audit should be given for the allocation of funds by the European Union. Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy had said recently that Baksh had proven himself worthy of heading the sugar industry. In addition to chairing the Gaisuka Board of Directors, Baksh remains Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Water Incorporated, a position he has held since October 2012. He had also served as Housing and Water Minister from 1998 to 2006 before being appointed Education Minister after the 2006 general and regional elections. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Stay with us, more of the Evening News when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Caribbean Surgery Incorporated, in collaboration with Television Ghana TVG 28 and Ghana Enterprise, will launch this Sunday, September 21 at 1500 hours on TVG 28, the first in a series of 14 programs called Health for Life. The medical show, the first of its kind on television in Ghana, is produced and hosted by Dr. Surendra Prasad, who every week will introduce a colleague who is a specialist in their field of medicine. The first hour of the program deals with prevalent health conditions and concerns, which will be delivered in an easy-to-listen format. The second half of the show takes the format of a live call-in program where members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions either live on air or via email, text message, or on Facebook. Fever in Children will be featured in the first program, and the doctor on call is Dr. Rohan Jabour. Edward B. Bihari and Company Limited, in partnership with Habitat for Humanity, handed over a house to Donna Moonsamy, a single-parent mother who had lived for years in desperate circumstances at Liliandale on the east coast of Demerara. In a release, the company said Moonsamy, age 56, had lived in a wooden shack at Liliandale Public Road with her 2 sons, daughter and granddaughter. The house, which was in a state of disrepair, had a leaking roof and no back steps. There was no running water and poor sanitation facilities. According to the company, Moonsamy lived at this location for the past 27 years. In addition to being a single parent, Moonsamy is asthmatic and also suffers from arthritis. In her new home, compliments of the companies, it is located at Westminster, Parfait Harmony, West Bank, Demerara. Stay with us. More news after these messages. Welcome back, and now for a look at some news in the region and internationally. Regionally, the Bahamian government says with immediate effect it will no longer accept applications from people who do not have legal status in the country. In addition, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell said persons who submit such applications will be refused and arrested and charged and deported. And internationally, French jets have carried out their first strikes against Islamic State militants in Iraq, an office of President François Hollande says. A statement said planes had attacked an ISIS depot in northeast Iraq, and there would be more raids in the coming days. The U.S. had carried out more than 170 airstrikes against the jihadist group in Iraq since mid-August. IS remains in control of dozens of cities and towns in Iraq and Syria, where it had declared a caliphate. And now for your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed at 14 hours 30 on Saturday, September 20 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 14 hours 25 on Saturday, September 20 for a period of 1.5 hours. Stay with us. Sport is next.
A few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back, and now for your sport headlines. The WICB and the WIPA ink a new agreement. Successful karatekes pay courtesy call on sport minister. Sport Ministry bemoans communication breakdown with GFF, and Banks 7's rugby tournament scrums off on Sunday. This segment of sport is sponsored by Macorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony says he is yet to hear from executives of the Ghana Football Federation following the signing of a memorandum of understanding for a plot of land at Leonora for the construction of a home for football. Here is more with Avinash Ramzan.
Earlier this year, the GFF, led by Matthias, and Dr. Anthony met at his office on Main Street, where the relevant documents and a draft memorandum of understanding were submitted to the minister. The GFF had been afforded land by the government of Guyana at Leonora on the west coast of Demerara to construct a home for football. The original plot of land that was being used for the gold project, located at Orenstein in the east bank of Essequibo, will no longer be used. Matthias said at the end of that meeting that there were some other items that needed to be included in the MOU, and it was agreed that they would be included and submitted for signing shortly after that meeting in February. In an interview on Friday, the minister claimed he has not heard from the GFF since.
GFF had to come back to us with some very specific things, and we haven't heard from them. As you would recall, the project that we had in mind was to develop 10 acres of land at Leonora in several phases. So, that's what we had in mind. But we are awaiting the GFF to respond to us.
Only Thursday, Director of Sport Neil Kumar said he was seriously concerned by the state of football in the country. While Dr. Anthony did not state a clear position, he did indicate that it is time the regional governing body, CONCACAF, play a more active role in helping to bring forth a resolution to the current situation.
I think what is also needed now is perhaps for the regional body to pay a little bit more attention and to help them to resolve their issues. I know at the last set of meetings they would have had representation coming in from CONCACAF and trying to work along with the executives. So let's hope that they can continue that process and that they bring resolution to it sooner rather than later.
While Guyana is struggling to get its first gold project off the ground, neighboring Suriname, for example, is in the process of commencing its fifth.
The West Indies Cricket Board, the WICB, and the West Indies Players Association, the WIPA, signed a new collective bargaining agreement and memorandum of understanding during a ceremony on Thursday. Wycliffe Dave Cameron, president of the WICB, signed on behalf of the regional body, while Wavell Hines, president of the WIPA, signed on behalf of the Players Association. Cameron hailed the signing as a new partnership which will take regional cricket forward, while Hines said it created a stable environment for the players to play and demonstrate their skills. The signing ceremony was also attended by Clive Lloyd, former West Indies captain and chairman of selectors, Michael Muirhead, chief executive officer of the WICB, and Richard Fibus, director of cricket of the WICB. ASK Guyana YMCA Dojo returned home recently with a total of 50 medals after competing in the 1KD Caribbean Karate Championship in Trinidad and Tobago. The group today paid a courtesy call on Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony. Here is more from Avinash Ramzan.
24 karatekas from ASK Guyana YMCA Dojo came up against the best from several Caribbean countries, including hosts Trinidad and Tobago. They competed in the team and individual kata, kumite, embu, and bunkai. Of the 50 medals won, 16 were gold, 24 were silver, and 10 were bronze. Minister Anthony was enthused by the performance of the team, noting that karatekas have always represented the nation well.
The Guyana Karate College especially has been doing extremely well, and we look forward with the building of this institution that you would even do better. So once again, let me add my congratulations to all of you And we hope that you continue the good work and that you not only use what you have learned in karate, but you use it in other aspects of life as well, because I think that is what is more important.
As a symbol of appreciation, ASK Guyana presented a framed photo of the karatekas with their medals to Dr. Anthony. The minister said the photo would now grace the walls of the ministry. One of Ghana's top performers, Medarishi Ramdani, who copped 4 medals in the Masters category, reflected on the competition and his personal performance.
The competition was pretty at a high level. This is Masters category, and the guys were pretty good. A lot of high dan, like 5th dans and up, 5th, 6th dan, 7th dans guy, Trinidad, Barbados, and St. Vincent. But it was pretty nice. It was very competitive, I could say.
Meanwhile, President of ASK Guyana, Amir Khoury, said despite the amazing success of his group, there are many challenges and hurdles hampering the growth and development of the sport in Guyana.
We are struggling for equipment because we don't have them locally. We have to import them, and it takes time to get them in. Training, we have good instructors. We now need mats because the standards have elevated to where you use a lot of throws in demonstrations, and the competitions require you use mats. So that is one of our setbacks right now. We are trying to work on getting mats. If we can get assistance, we'll be very grateful for that.
Khoury highlighted that while having the mats would enhance the performance of locals, there is an exorbitant sum that is attached to acquiring such equipment, and ASK Guyana will welcome any person or organization who may be willing to assist in this regard.
1 square meter of the mat costs about approximately $50 US. That's the standard mats that they need in the competitions. And you need at least 144 of those mats. So it's pretty expensive, and then to bring it in, the shipping will add on to that.
Guyana is now preparing for the World Championship scheduled to be held in Toronto, Canada in 2015.
Teams are gearing up for the start of the Banks DIH Sevens rugby tournament slated for Sunday at the National Park. Tristan Joseph shares some details on the upcoming tournament.
While teams will be looking for a title win when the competition starts on Sunday, the local ruggers will also be aiming to impress the Guyana Rugby Football Union in the hope of making the national team. President of the GFRU, Peter Green, spoke on the importance of the tournament for the players and Guyana as well.
Well, the Banks tournaments, my expectation is going to be very high because, as you can see, the players are training very hard. This commences the road to Mexico, where the Guyana rugby team will be aspiring to get back the trophies and their title, which they've won for the last 6 years, barring 2011 when they brought second to Mexico, and I think it's 2012 or 2013, right? We didn't go last year.
Further, Green highlighted just how tough it will be to make the national side.
It's actually 12 places, and with the overseas players expected to take up at least 7 or 8, competition for the remaining places will be very hard. Now, it's not that I want to bring all of the overseas players, but the hard fact is, if you're going to be representing your country at national level, at this high level, with the stakes very, very high, you have got to use your best material, no matter what it costs.
Meanwhile, teams are in full preparation mode for the upcoming Sevens tournament, and none more ready than the Pepsi Hornets, who recently won the Tens tournament, as captain of the team, Ryan Gonzalez, explained.
Sevens is for the quick and the dead. But as for my team, I think we're looking pretty good. We're just trying to get ourselves back in the sevens mood because we've been playing 15s and 10s over the past few months, and sevens is a very tough game. It calls for fitness, so we're gonna try our best, and hopefully we could bring this out. We're just coming off a good tournament, so we can use that as a good momentum leading into the Banks Sevens.
The Banks Sevens is set to begin on Sunday from noon at the National Park Rugby Field.
And finally, Kane Williamson cracked his maiden T20 century to lead Northern Districts to a 33-run victory over Cape Cobras in a Champions League T20 in Raipur. Williamson, unbeaten on 101 from 49 balls, powered Northern Districts to 206 for 5, and when the rain came in Cape Cobras' innings at 42 for 2 in 7.2 overs, they needed to be at 78 for 2 at the same stage to get full points. The Champions League will continue tomorrow with 2 games, Dolphins versus Scorchers at 6 hours 30 and Barbados Tridents against Kings 11 Punjab at 10 hours 30. And that has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Friday, September 20, 2014. Please remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times newspaper for details of these stories and other news. I'm Petali Santos. Thank you for joining us.